I just want to begin, I think, I just want to begin by sort of delving slightly into what we mean by longevity. Obviously, it's kind of living longer, living healthier.
Healthy, I think.
And I think we can take as read almost that it's the fundamentals are eating well, sleeping well, friendships, lack of stress, all of those. But I just wondered if you could just begin by just explaining to us or talking through some recent, I don't know whether it's discoveries or learnings or understandings within the scientific community that means that the conversation has taken beyond that to talking about pushing our lives longer than I guess most of us would have thought a few years ago.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for coming to this session. So the whole idea now is, as science is progressing, we are developing a new science, and this is the science of aging. And aging is, all of us here, we are time travelers, and in this time we need to give meaning to our lives. We need to be functional. We need to enjoy life, doing the right things. And eventually, the whole idea is to keep the youth within us. But we do know today that aging is a medical condition. So what happens within our bodies, in our cells, is that our cells are accumulating damage. And as a result of this, all our functions deteriorate. And this, at core, is a biological phenomenon. This happens with molecules. Of course, is not revealed immediately, in life. So we all here start aging from the age, let's say, of 20, but is not evident. So we start realizing after time.
Can I quickly jump in? When you say aging, do you mean that our cells are deteriorating in functionality? Is
correct,
that,
correct.
What's
correct.
the definition that you're taking of?
The definition of aging is we know now that there are many causes what happens within our cells. The scientists have identified 12 different causes, and they're all very interconnected. Mm-hmm. So our cells accumulate damage. They cannot process this damage, and as a result, our DNA is not repaired as it should. Mm-hmm. As a result of all this, our functionality deteriorates. So aging has started, is not evident to us. So at the age of 30, at the age of 40, we feel great, but we're still aging inside. Then around the period of menopause, andropause for men, then we start seeing our phenotypic aging. So we start seeing our blood results deteriorating, our brain health deteriorates, and then eventually, as time goes by, also our functionality. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea and what we're discussing today is how do we keep the youth inside us? So are there now interventions when you can actually go at molecular level,
So we're really talking about molecular?
Yes, and reverse, these processes. So chronologically we are 80, but biologically we are 60. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the whole idea now of discussion in the longevity field and the science of aging.
And can I just ask you to talk about the word biohacking? Because I feel like that's something that comes up continuously. Obviously, it's the title of our discussion, but it's one of those words that I feel is quite divisive amongst the FT readership. A lot of you love it, and a lot of you don't. And what does it mean? And is it a sort of what do you actually mean by that?
Right. So let us talk a little bit about as an introduction about what happens within the body. I will come to biohacking. So what happens within our body is this aging that happens within the body at molecular level depends on two factors. It depends on our genetics, 20%, and 80% depends on the signals that we send to our genes. Okay? So
and that's quite a new way of looking, sort of understanding, isn't it? Because we didn't used to think that. We used to think it was much more genetic.
Yes.
Genetic
So it's all about what we do. It's all about lifestyle, you know, and the information we give to our genes. So when we talk about biohacking, is how can we give the right signals to the body at molecular level and reverse the age we are inside. So we delay these kind of processes. We find ways not to accumulate so much damage, or we do things where we can excrete, we can, you know, this damage into the waste box.
Is that sort of senescent cells?
It's not only senescent cells. There are, as I said, there are 12.
And for those people
yes,
who,
there are 12. We don't need to go to technical wording, but there are 12 different causes of how this can happen. Eventually, our DNA cannot repair well. So when the DNA is giving the information to the body, is giving errors to the body, and this is all aging us.
And can I also just ask something of this in this beginning discussion about the term functional medicine, because that's also something that I think we're talking about more, and how that differs from what we would most of us would understand as medical support.
Yeah, so functional medicine is kind of, we have functional training, we have all functional things, you know, functional food. So it's a very a new term. So functional medicine is a new step of medicine. So because I think the traditional medicine is all about treating symptoms, is all about, you know, doing the patches for us when something has already been revealed. So functional medicine is going a little bit more deeper and trying to prevent things from happening by doing the right lifestyle, if you like, interventions. And of course, the science of aging, it goes really deep and touches the subject.
And I'd like to come back about sort of the tests that you can do to measure, I guess, where your body is, and you know, and what treatment you can do to prevent further damage. But just as a kind of to throw it out there at the beginning, like how much do you think we can extend our lives through current innovations and practices? Yeah,
demographers, so they've done mathematical models and equations, and we know that we can extend our life up to 125, 135. So this is, the question, however, is...
How do we know that?
Well, they've done mathematical models, so they've made in, you know, it's all statistics, the way they do things, and then they project.
Yep.
I think the big question is anybody here wants to live to 140 and taking the risk the last 50 years of his life to be in a hospital? Nobody. So I think this is a very big question. How do we maintain the youth within us and then still young one day die? I think this is the way I understand longevity. I mean, keeping healthier, being able to function, do the things that you were doing 20, 30 years ago. I think this is a very big question. And of course, with this goes the question, how do we reverse? How do we bring back the youth within us?
So I guess I have a question, which is, given that there's not many of us around that are 120 plus at the moment, like how do we measure now? How old our bodies are. And how,
so the age we are inside is not the same age we are outside. So we can have an individual 60 years old, chronological age, and inside can be 40, or inside can be 80.
So what are the
kind of we are measuring, there are some tests, they're called epigenetic clocks. So what they've done is they've taken a lot of data from different people, different ages, and then they measure what is called a DNA methylation pattern. So in your DNA chain, there are certain areas where the genes are on, working or not working, on or off. And by doing biostatistical calculations, they can calculate the age you are inside. It's still in progress, is not accurate, but it can give you a good estimate of your age you are inside. But why do we want to do this? I mean, don't we know that, you know, if I cannot run as well as before I'm aging, if suddenly my memory goes, I'm aging. So the question here for me is what we can do in everyday lifestyle. I don't believe we need these clocks to understand the age we are inside. It's our everyday life that tells us how old we are. And to me, it's simple. But there are some other epigenetic tests that we do, and we have developed here in Chenot. And what you can actually see is by taking a little bit of blood, you can take out of the blood a molecule, very interesting molecule, which is called mRNA. So what happens? Your DNA is giving the information to the body to do something, but the command doesn't go directly to the body, to the proteins. All this command is included in another molecule, which is called messenger RNA. You heard about it from the vaccines, mRNA. So mRNA is information. So by extracting mRNA from the blood, we are able to see at a molecular level what we call silent inflammation. It's called silent because you cannot see with MRIs, you cannot see with any kind of scans, you cannot see with blood tests. So this is inflammation that happens within the body, and it indicates if something is coming to you in the years to come. So this is the best, in my view, diagnostic of your lifestyle. You cannot, because you can take action and change these commands. You can so by monitoring regularly once a year how you've been living your life, you can actually see and silence the bad genes. And I think this is very, very powerful, very powerful.
So is the idea, you were saying you do the epigenetic tests and you see which DNA molecules are turned on and turned off. And
Yes.
is the idea to turn back on the ones that should be working
Correct.
and turn off the ones? Is
Yes.
that
Yes.
okay.
And the medicine is lifestyle. Of course, we have a lot of supplements. Maybe we'll discuss later.
Yeah.
There are some drugs. You can do things. But remember, the body is a system. So all these drugs, all these supplements, they address only one metabolic pathway without taking care of what happens next to the other pathways.
Yeah.
So always I recommend lifestyle, changes in lifestyle, create habits. Habits are training. You are training your body to adapt to a new level.
But you mentioned supplements, and actually I think that's one of the most interesting things at the moment, I guess because it's the most accessible for any of us who are near a health food shop. What do you but there's a huge sort of lack of regulation in supplements. And what's your take on, and you hear a lot about NAD+, taurine, numerous others. And what would you say are the top supplements that, how can we tell what's working, what should be taking, anything we should avoid?
Yeah, so I'm not very keen on supplements in a way that, first of all, you don't know the quality of them, where they're made, how they're making them. You don't know what the capsule is made of. You don't know the color they use in the supplement. You don't know the excipient, and you don't know.
So if something's colourful, would you say avoid?
Well, I don't know. But and also they glue together to make the capsule. So you are taking also a lot of toxin as you are taking the supplements. Second thing is, do they work? We don't have studies to show us that this works, this doesn't work. Maybe they work in animals. We are not animals. We're humans, because there are not enough studies on humans over a very long period of times, so to understand what is happening within the body. And the third thing is, it might be working good for something, but everything you take also has a side effect. So let me give you an example. The side effect doesn't have to be bad. Let me give you an example to understand. You are exercising, and then you take, so what exercise does, exercise creates free radicals, creates bad molecules for the body to create a new adaptation. This is the principle of hormesis. We can touch it later. So what you do the exercise, you're creating free radicals, and then you're taking all these supplements with antioxidant properties. But when you give to the body antioxidant supplements, you are taking away this effect of exercises. So you're trained, and then you are taking away the effect of the training. And this is very important. So how much dose you take, how often you take, when you take, all these are very, very critical factors one needs to consider when taking supplements. And remember, everything has a side effect, and we need to be careful.
So do you have any sort of guidelines for people in terms of good, how to navigate the supplements shelf? Because I think that a lot of us will feel like we want to be more alert. We want to,
Yes. So, relating always to longevity, like you said, NMN, NR, NAD, certainly in theory they work. Okay, and they've been testing also on mice and on animals. We do not have data on humans yet, so we don't know what is the long-term effect. So don't get excited. There's a lot of hype, but we do not have long-term data. But all these NAD, NM, and NR, exercise can do it for you. And it can do it better because it's natural way of actually, this is what the body understands. If somebody is telling me, give us a big tip about longevity, I will say to you, build muscle. Muscle is an amazing organ to keep you forever. You improve your brain health, you improve your memory, you are reducing your stress responses, having big muscles and exercise. And to build big muscles, you need to eat the right food. Everything is connected. You need to be sleeping well. Make muscle. You will live up to 120 without all these chronic related diseases.
And can I ask you about tech? Because I went to a rather sort of fantastic, in the broadest sense of that term, festival called the World Optimization Summit this year. And there was the most kind of incredible amount of sort of tech. I think one sort of massive machine when I walked in was called the Human Regulator. The Human Regenerator, that was it. And it's easy to sort of feel overwhelmed. And you obviously have a lot of high-tech stuff at Chenot. And what's Chenot, kind of, what proven, what works? What have you, and also what have you rejected out of hand because it's total quackery?
So we have made at Chenot a very big investment in the order of millions of Swiss francs. We're a Swiss company based in Lake Lucerne. And we have used a lot of these machines you are referring to, from cryotherapies, sauna, photobiomodulation, big machines. So all they do, what are we trying to do now with these machines? We are trying to take the body out of its comfort zone, okay? When the body gets out of this comfort zone, then the body brings up the survival mode, says, well, what are you doing to me? I need to survive. And by bringing up these longevity genes, we will call them, the survival mode, the body is repairing itself. For example, fasting. I give you, before we go to these devices, fasting, we know is one of the best medicines. You don't eat, the body gets better. It's repairing itself. Think of a time when you have a flu. What is your body telling you? Don't feed me, you are not hungry. So to remove
you're a believer in intermittent fasting?
Yes, of course. I'm a believer in intermittent fasting. I'm a believer in long-term fasting. In Chenot, we do what we call, and we had also a show before with our chef, executive chef Ettore, who prepared a couple of dishes, is we have what we call fast mimicking diet. So what is a fast mimicking diet? Is you're eating, but the body doesn't understand that you take food. How we do this? You need to give 800 calories per day. You need to take away all the proteins. So you need to give vegan food. When you take away the proteins from the food, then you are playing with nutrient sensitive receptors within the body, which they don't receive protein, they don't receive the command growth, and the body is switching to the command clean. We call this detox. Detox is not to clean your liver. Detox is to remove the waste from your cells. Okay? So with the diet, you can do fantastic interventions. You can do the 16-8, the 2-5, or you can use the fast mimicking diet. You can do things. And then with all this technology, you are bombarding the body with signals. And the body is under stress. And the body says, well, I'm under stress, I need to survive. Let's defend. And by defending, you are regulating your biological age.
So it's the kind of the positive effects of stress.
Exactly, and this we call it hormesis.
Okay.
Okay, in medicine. So this is called hormesis. You give signals to the body which are threatening for the body, and the body comes with repair.
And can I just throw in at the end the rapamycin and metformin? Like, what are your thoughts on these?
Okay. Yes,
radical.
Yes, I've tried them. I cannot tell you I felt good or not. It's not a matter of feeling. It's what's happening at molecular.
They're strictly controlled at the moment,
They're
so that you can't get them.
Yeah, strictly controlled. So the metformin is a fantastic medicine. It's very, very cheap. People with diabetes are taking, and when you're taking is, if you like, helps the body. It's like calorie restriction effect.
Yeah.
Like you're not eating. Rapamycin, it has a similar effect. They use it during transplantations, so the body doesn't reject the organ, the transplant, and is working like a sort of what will give to the body food without the protein. So it's downregulating one sensor in the body. It's called the mammalian target of rapamycin, and so the body can switch to the command detox. The metabolic pathways which are used, they've been checked in animals, and they see that they can extend life for animals who live up to 2 years. But on humans, we don't really know.
So how long did you take them for?
I've taken for a long time.
Okay, so you still take it?
I'm still taking metformin, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But this is not for people. I mean, it's fully controlled what I'm doing. Yeah.
And the same as rapamycin. It's the same.
I'm not taking rapamycin anymore.
We've kind of skipped through many things, and I just wondered. I'm sure there's absolutely loads of questions. This gentleman at the front.
So you wrote an article in review about FT 2-3 years ago about the Nobel Prize winner. He sits in Arizona, I think, or New Mexico, and he was interviewed by Financial Times, and you may remember the article. You probably remember the article. And about
please remind
living
me.
to 125 in those days we talked about.
Yeah.
And it was saying that you need 2 ingredients when you talk about supplements. One is the diabetic type medicines, and the other one is the cell rejuvenation medicine. So what are those 2? And you say there's no statistics. Then we are 2-3 years on. I'm sure you've looked at those 2 supplements. And what is your thinking?
Well, the diabetic is the one I refer to is the metformin.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember now the article because I'm bombarded with articles, but most likely the other one will be the rapamycin that we discussed just now. So
No, I think it's more like if it's about cell regeneration.
Cell regeneration. I think so. We're referring to urolithin A. I think this will be a supplement, urolithin A. So there is a new supplement, and urolithin A, we know that what is doing to the body is producing mitochondrial biogenesis. So mitochondria are the batteries of our cell. Every cell has thousands of mitochondria. And what happens with the aging, they get dysregulated. The job of the mitochondria is to take oxygen to give you energy. For all things that happen in the body, you need energy, also for repairing mechanisms. If you are lacking of energy, you are aging faster. So by taking urolithin A, you are enhancing the energy within the body, you are stimulating the mitochondria to be nice and fit, you increase cellular fitness, you reduce your biological age.
So you believe in that one?
I believe in that one, yeah. Because it's been through clinical trials, phase 2, urolithin A, and there is very, very good evidence.
And why don't you take it?
Because I'm exercising. So you know, for people who don't exercise, maybe it's a good idea, but I cannot top it up with this. I'm doing a lot of exercise.
There's a lady in the front here.
Thank you very much. I'm a little bit confused about the protein because I'm training, for example, and most of the food now is rich in protein. You are required to take more protein. We take protein additional. And now you talk about this diet,
Yes.
8 calorie with no protein.
Yes. So as we are getting older, we need to maintain our muscle mass, and we need to stimulate that pathway, the mammalian target of rapamycin. So we need to increase our protein intake to 1.6 grams, 1.7 grams per kilogram body weight. Occasionally, we need to give the chance to the body to clean. So there can be periods intermittently where you reduce your protein, so you allow the body to detox better.
The gentleman, yeah,
Yes.
the sunglasses.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. What about alcohol, and what about air pollution?
Yeah. So alcohol, I don't have much to say to you. Alcohol is a bad thing to the body. Okay, whether you drink 1 glass or 10. So full stop here. So we're talking
Bad
about
news for me.
we're talking about health. Okay, and of course we're not living in a healthy environment. So you know, we are humans. We live in this planet. Our planet, I don't think at the moment is healthy. It certainly is affecting our well-being. I don't have something to say specific for this. Please.
Orange trouser
Oh,
man.
sorry.
If you could just do 3 tests, what are the 3 things you want to measure for yourself
Great
on a
question.
regular basis?
So on a regular
If-
basis,
If everyone heard that, was if you could do 3 tests, what would they be to measure your, I guess your biomarkers and your health and
all right.
etc.
So the tests I do are so I'm thinking 4 categories of aging: chronological aging, molecular aging, biological, we discussed before, phenotypic aging, and functional aging. So on the molecular side, I'm doing the mRNA testing every 6 months. On the phenotypic, I'm checking my brain and my blood test results. And on the functional, I'm checking my fitness and my memory.
And is it reducing?
I will not.
I can't remember.
Oh, can we just have one more? Can we just have one more? This lady in there with the black top.
When you were talking about the messenger mRNA, how you can see silent inflammation, which might be
Yeah,
something's
yeah.
coming, is that things like Alzheimer's?
Yes, yes. So what we can see is we have selected, you know, all genes are interconnected between them. So we have selected 20 metabolic pathways where they have different outcomes. And from these metabolic pathways, we've taken key genes, and we're looking at their expression in blood. So by putting them all together, we understand what happens within the body in terms of inflammation. Now, which direction this inflammation will go, we do not know. But we know that your body is inflammaging. So things are happening, and we know that this is reducing, or non-reducing, is increasing the age you are inside. We do not use clocks because, you know, as I said to you, they're mathematical formulations. But by looking at the results, then we can give you recommendations of things that you need to do in lifestyle, okay? And eventually, after 6 months, you come back to us, and we are monitoring again. If we see consistency, with certainty, we know that things are coming to you.
I'm so sorry we're out of time, but Dr. Gaitanos will be next door in the Chenot stand, so if you have any questions, you can find him there. Thank you so much
Yes,
for
and
coming.
thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.